Hello everybody, Sir Beaton here and welcome back to another past paper practice. In this video, we will be tackling some vectors question. So let's head straight into the first question. So the question says, given that PR is equal to B minus 2B and PS is equal to 3B and B plus 1, express each of the vectors RP and RS in its simplest form. So we want RP and we have PR. So PR means you're moving from P and you're going to R. So RP means you'll be going in reverse. So the vector RP would just be PR in reverse. And how do we reverse a vector? How do we go in the opposite direction? By just flipping the signs. So since this is positive B, RP would be a negative B. And since this is a negative 2B, in reverse, that will be a positive 2B. And that is as easy as that. So next they want us to find the vector RS. So the vector RS, so we don't have SR, but what we do have, we know we're moving from the point R and we're going to the point S. So we need to travel along a vector to get to move from R to S. So to move from R to S, we see we can start from R and we can go to another point, and in this case we know P. So we can go to the point P. And then because of the triangle says you must move from P now to the vector S. So we now move from P and we go to the vector, well, to the point S, not the vector S. And we have these vectors, RP and PS. So you move from R and we go to P, and then you move from P and we go to S. And that is how vectors are formed from one point to the next. It talks about the movement. So now we put in these things, we know RP. We found RP to be negative B and 2B. And this will be added to PS. We found PS to be 3B and B plus 1. So we add these together. So we add the negative B plus the 3B. So negative B plus 3B. And then we have 2B plus B plus 1. And this will then be simplified to negative B plus 3B would give us just like you have negative 1 plus 3 would give us a positive 2. So this will be a positive 2B. And then we have 2B plus B would give us 3B plus 1. And this would be the vector RS. As easy as that. And that is our answer for RS. The next one says, determine the values of B if the magnitude of PR is equal to the square root of 20 units. So the magnitude of PR. So in order for us to find the magnitude of PR, we know the formula to find the magnitude of PR. It's the square root of x squared plus y squared. So for x, x would refer to this term here. And for y, it will refer to this term here. Because this will talk about the movement in the x-axis, and this will talk about the movement in the y-axis. This goes across, and this one goes up or down. So, to answer this question, it told us that the magnitude of PR is the square root of 20 units. So we can replace this with the square root of 20 is equal to the square root of x would be b. So this would be b squared plus y, which would be a negative 2b squared. So this would then be the square root of 20 is equal to the square root of, so we can simplify this. So b squared would become b squared plus negative 2b squared would become negative 2 times negative 2 become 4. And b times b would become b squared. And now we want to solve for b. But before we can actually solve for b, we can add these two together. So we can have the square root of 20 is equal to, so b squared plus 4b squared, that would become the square root of 5b squared. Because b, they are like terms, so we can add them. And then now we want to solve for b. So let me take this up. So we take over the square root sign. So we take over the square root sign, the opposite of square root to become square. So this would be the square root of 20. And we square that would be equal to 5b squared, because we took over the square root sign. So when we square something that is being square root, this will cancel out with the square root. So we're left with 20 is equal to 5b squared. And then to solve for b, we take over the 5. So we take over the 5, it will divide the 20. So we'll have 20 divided by 5 is equal to b squared. So 20 divided by 5 would be 4 is equal to b squared. So hence, b now will be equal to, we take over the square root, become the square root of 4 is equal to b. So now we have b is equal to, when we square root 4, we see we'll get two numbers for 4. We get b would be equal to 2 and a negative 2 as well. Because if we square negative 2, that will give you 4 as well. So b is equal to 2 and negative 2. So we can say therefore b is equal to 2 and b is equal to negative 2. And that is how you get your answer for this question. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video. I trust that you have a good understanding of how to tackle these kind of questions. And I'll see you in the next video in which I'll be tackling some more questions. So keep practicing and take care.